very pleased to have this conversation as part of the Abel Prize seminar this fall with Professor Ingrid Daubechies from Duke University and Professor Rachel Ward from the University of Texas. Ingrid, maybe I could start off that one of our themes for this seminar has been the way that fundamental mathematical research has crossed scientific boundaries.
Yes.
And is beginning to have significant impact in our everyday life. I wondered if you could make some comments, especially in the context of your recognition as an applied mathematician, but how you see application and pure research meshing.
I see. Well, I think when you said fundamental mathematics has started crossing over, I think that actually has been going on for much longer. I think we have become much more conscious of it. Applied mathematicians, I think, as soon as something like applied mathematicians, the concept of applied mathematician existed, it didn't always exist. I mean, people were just mathematicians, but applied mathematicians are people who learn a lot of mathematics, who are, I mean, very completely imbued with mathematics, but like applying these concepts, these frameworks, to problems outside mathematics, and see opportunities for doing that, and in very wonderful situations they get new problems out of that contact with applications that give new questions that then penetrate back into fundamental mathematics. So I think that link has existed. What I think is new, well, is happening more now, and I think it's a great thing, that fundamental mathematicians have become more aware of this, and some of them have become very interested in applications and talking with applied mathematicians and application fields themselves, and that I think is a great development. I mean, I see it in computational topology. I see it with Terry Tao working with Emmanuel Candes on compressive sensing. There are a number of examples that one could name, and I think they're great. And I think they're great because they lead to a quicker penetration of a wider range of mathematical fields in the applications, but I think they also will feed back very interesting questions back to mathematics.
Where do you see this initiating? You mentioned computational topology, which I don't think would have been recognized as a topic maybe 10 years ago.
I see.
15 years ago.
Well, what happens there is that if you are conceptually you can think of it. If you're in a very noisy situation, and but you have some structures that are lying there. You have you see a lot of smog and so on, but there's a denser smoke ring. I mean, how are you going to see that? I mean, computational topology tells you how to do that. Actually, you have all these particles and so on, and they call this persistent homology, and you make little balls around them, and you see whether there are structures that persist for a while as you make things more blurred, and it's a very nice way of using a topological concept in order to detect something. And all of this mathematics that we think of is, after all, mathematics we construct. I mean, mathematics, we invent those, and we invent those concepts, those frameworks, because we recognize them as patterns that are useful to have words for and to know the properties of and to articulate, and that's how we build mathematics. But we get all that from our imagination and from what we sense and see, and so I think a lot of it, more than we think, may be already suggested by things we have encountered in everyday lives, like seeing smoke rings.
So in terms of construction, you mentioned, but that we have problems, we construct mathematics to solve those problems.
Yes.
But that touch somehow on patterns in our imagination. So can it also be there is a discovery component? There is often a dichotomy between people who believe we're constructing mathematics and people who think that we're discovering.
I think, and I know this feeling, and I've had it myself, that you're discovering something. And but I'm firmly on the side, which is a minority among mathematicians, that all the mathematics we construct is, all the mathematics we do is things that we construct. Now, we may discover things. We do discover things, but I don't think they're things that exist in a Platonic ideal world. I think they're things that they're patterns that exist and that we haven't articulated, and that we discover how to articulate them, and then how to name them, how to work with them, and so on. So I think we do a lot of work there. But I think when we have this feeling of discovery, I think it is something that is related to things we have intuited, things we have seen, imagined, and yeah.